Hi everyone, I'm Cosmin, the coach of Web Tennis 24. One of the most frequent questions I receive from tennis parents is, what kind of racket should I get for my child? But before we get into the details like grip size, racket head, weight, and most importantly strings, I would like to show you the rackets that are recommended according to your child's age. Also, I would like to mention that only because a certain racket length is recommended to your child's age does not mean that you have to stick with that. We all know that children develop differently. Some of them are taller, some of them are stronger. So if your child feels like he is ready to move on to a heavier racket, you can do that. So following, you will see the recommendations, but you do not have to stick with that. By the way, as far as how you know if your child is ready to move on to a heavier racket, in this video later on in a few minutes I'm going to show you some tests that you can do with your child in order to choose the right racket. But for now, let's go ahead and begin with the recommended racket length according to your child's age. The lightest one and the smallest one, I will begin with the 21 inches long racket. This one is recommended for children of 4 or 5 years of age. All right, so this is for 4 and 5-year-olds, 21 inches long. By the way, there are rackets that are also 19 inches in length. Those are for kids who are younger than 4, but in my opinion 21 is perfect for any child 5 or younger. All right, so this one is 21 inches long and is recommended for 4 and 5-year-olds. By the way, if you look for the racket and you want to know how do you know the length, usually the length of the racket is on the side of the racket. Funny that this one does not have, but the next ones that I'm going to show do have a number on it. So this one is the shortest racket. By the way, this belonged to my daughters when they started tennis, and also if your children will begin with these little rackets, they will be playing with sponge balls too. Also, by the way, we have a video talking about the recommended balls that you can use with your children according to their level of performance, whether they are beginners or more of competitive players and so on. We have a different video that I welcome you to watch it at webtennis24.com. That particular video will talk about balls and court size, but right now we are going to stick only with the recommended racket and the details later on. So that was the 21 inches long that was recommended for 4 and 5-year-olds. The next racket is 23 inches long, and this one is for 6, 7 or 8-year-olds recommended. Now this racket, like I told you earlier, you can see the number 23 on the side of the racket. So this one is for 6, 7 or 8-year-olds recommended. But like I said, if your child is stronger, he can use the next level up racket. So if you look for the numbers, you can find them anywhere on the frame of the racket. Sometimes you find them on the side or sometimes at the top. By the way, these are used rackets that my daughters used to play with, and we still keep them because I think it's just great memories. So these used to be my daughter's rackets. So this is 23 inches long, recommended for 6, 7 or 8-year-olds. Next racket is 25 inches long, recommended for 9 and 10-year-olds. All right, now the 25, let me see where we can find the number. Oh, right here on the side. Okay, so you can see that the 25, and then let me see if there's also over here on the edge, right here. Okay, so the 25 inches long rackets recommended for 9 and 10, but again, if you're 10-year-old or 9.5 feels stronger and is ready to use, even a 26, they can go for that. All right, this is just the standard recommendation. So that was 25 inches long for 9 and 10. Next one, once your child turns 11, they can use a 26 inches long racket. We can find the number 26 at the bottom of the racket head, okay, and also on the side, okay. So this is where you can find the numbers in order to choose the racket. So the 26 inches long racket is for 10, 11-year-olds, and they are just before moving on to an adult size racket, which is the next racket. The adult size rackets I personally recommend to children who are 11 and strong, 11 and a half, and 12. All right, so once your child turns 12, they can use an adult size racket such as this one. This one is 27 inches long. All right, let me see if I can find a place where this one says 27. Probably not. Most of the adult size rackets, they don't show the number, but this is 27 inches long. One very important aspect that I would like to mention is that once your child is ready to move on to an adult size racket, it's very important that you look at the weight, all right? Because kids are not that strong yet at 12. My suggestion is that if you're ready for your child, actually if your child is ready to move on to an adult racket, try to look for one that is lighter than 10 ounces. For example, this is one of my daughter's racket, and the weight is 9.3 ounces. So my daughter right now is 12 and a half, and I chose a racket that is not too heavy. So a racket that is over 10 ounces, I consider to be heavy for a 12-year-old, especially a girl. Actually, like I said, it depends of their height. My daughter is not very tall, so I consider that a 9.3 ounces racket is perfect for her. So very important my advice is that once your child is ready to move on to an adult size racket, try to look for one that is somewhere around 9 or 9.5 ounces. It should not be heavier than 10 ounces, okay? So these are the recommended racket length according to your child's age. Next, we're going to talk about the grip, the racket head, and weight, and also very importantly the types of strings, which in my opinion is the subject that most of the people should pay attention to. The strings, as far as tension and type of string, those are some of the most important elements of a racket.